Hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie Lask. I am one of the senior front-end developers here at InMotion Hosting in the IMW operations department. I have been with the company for 9 years. I started off in technical support and moved over to design, and I've just been here ever since.
I'm Anthony. I'm one of the web designers here. Been here for about 2 years. Also started out in the tech support department, worked my way up here. Super stoked to be here. Super stoked to be here for a while, hopefully to do more cool things like this. Let's get into it.
So, what are we going to be doing today is the question that you might have. We're going to be talking about how to set up WooCommerce. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to enter simple products as well as variable products, which touches on like options for, like size and color and things of that nature. I'm also going to be showing you where everything shows up on the site. So the dashboard versus live site. I'm also going to be showing you where to enter in your settings for your shipping, payment, and tax setup, and things like that. So there are some things that you are going to need to get started if you are looking to follow along. So first and foremost, you will need a domain and hosting, which you can purchase through our company, InMotion Hosting. And with that, once you have all that set up, you are going to need to have WordPress installed, and you are going to need to install WooCommerce. So there's a on-screen installation instructions that kind of takes you through all that with the setup. We kind of skipped over that, and we're just getting right into the main setup of products and things of that nature. So if you have any questions, please put them in the comments below, and we will definitely get back to you ASAP. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. And also stay tuned at the end of this video because we have a promo that we'll be announcing that can help you out with your WooCommerce setup. So without further ado, you ready to get started?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
Thanks so much for tuning in. This is the part of the video where I'm going to go over 7 tips and tricks that will be useful for setting up your WooCommerce store. These are tips that you're going to want to apply before you actually start building your website and your WooCommerce store. This is mostly about information gathering and planning. So, break out your notebook, break out your notepad, and I hope you find this information helpful. Now, tip number 1, descriptive product information. Having descriptive product information is important because it's going to help bring awareness to your product. And what I mean is, say we have a store, and I know we'll be tempted to do this with those people who have a lot of products, but to really skimp out on those descriptive product information, again, because of the amount of information that you have to end up typing in. So for our example, we have a website, we have a store, we're selling leather boots. And maybe in our product information, we put men's leather boot. But what we're actually selling is, maybe it's some sort of hiking boot or some sort of hiking boot with a Vibram leather sole. And so what happens is if we just have that very basic description, men's leather boot, and we're trying to sell hiking boots, when someone actually goes to search for hiking boots inside of their search engine, your product misses out on that search result because it doesn't have the descriptors in it. Search engines are looking for descriptors and specific wording to serve to specific search results. So again, tip number 1, having descriptive product information. And again, a good example would be, if we're looking at boots, we have words like long-lasting, toe cap, speed hooks, Vibram outsole. And so again, the important part is just having descriptive information about your products I'm not saying to be flashy or over the top or saying this is the best boot out there, but people are looking for specific things and you just want to make sure that your products are listed in those specific searches. Tip number 2 is going to be having keywords in your product titles. Now, tip number 2 is sort of like tip number 1. It sort of works the same. You want to have those keywords in your product titles so that they can end up in those search results. But it's important for another reason too. You want to have keywords in your titles because it's really going to capitalize on higher conversion rates. And all that means is that, there's a difference between somebody who's window shopping and somebody who says, you know what, I have $200. I know that I want a pair of hiking boots. And I know that there's these 2 stores out there that sell those hiking boots. Let me go there and spend my money. And so there's a difference between somebody just, haphazardly going on Google and searching men's leather boots versus the person who is going to a search engine and putting in leather boots with toe cap, speed hooks, Vibram outsole. Those people with those higher intentions are more likely to make the purchase. And so you want to have descriptive keywords in your titles so that you, again, can be included in those searches, except by those users who actually have a higher buying intention and have the means to buy. Tip number 3, product categories. Now, I know that not everybody is Amazon, and that's totally fine. You just want to make sure that you plan out your product categories for 2 reasons. The first reason is that it's going to sort of work like a wayfinding system. It's going to help your users know where to go to find the products that they're actually interested in. Or it's going to let them know that they're in the wrong place and there's a better category that they should be looking into to buy their product. Now, the second reason, and this might take a little bit more creativity, that's totally fine. But if you've ever been on Amazon or anything like that, and you've ever just kind of been scrolling, and I think these are more important now because we are all in quarantine, or we're starting to get out of quarantine. But you start to see different, categories like this. You know what I mean? Where it's not necessarily like women's clothing or women's tops, or it's not, like pottery. It's support local makers. It's support. It's cozy and casual loungewear. And if we were to click on this, different products that are important to our interests show up. And in this case, if we're looking for, comfy clothing to wear around the house, this product category encapsulates that. And, you see it in other places like the New York Times where they have their best sellers, right? We're just looking for a really good read. We don't want to do too much digging. Bam, we hit the best sellers list and we know what we're trying to look for. So again, tip is plan out your product categories. Tip number 4. I don't know about you, but for me, when I see a website like this, or I first come to this website, even though I know I may need to be here, or I know that the information might be valuable, there's just something very emotional and guttural that happens in the first 5 milliseconds of me coming to this webpage. It's when I first see this, I'm immediately given a sense of anxiety, a sense of stress, just because I'm confronted with dozens and dozens of links and just places to go. Humans like to take the easy route. And so when you come to a web page like this, it creates an instant negative user emotion and it drives your users away. Again, I keep showing all these big companies, it's totally fine. But what they do works. And in this case, we have Nike. And I know that when you hover over these, it might confront you with a long list of links, but that's totally fine. Because with this, I come to the website, and as a user, I'm able to process this. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 links for me to process. And it gives your user time to create an intention. And that intention, if it were myself, would be to go to men's, and go to the Jordan section. And so you see a difference between this 6-link navigation and this 100-link navigation. One drives your users away, and the other gives them time to process. It gives them time to create an intention in their mind of where they want to go and where they want to shop. And so you want to emulate this on your website and have a simplified navigation, in one banner, not too crowded, just to give your users time to create an intention of what they want to buy from you. Tip number 5 is going to be payment gateways. Now, being able to have a store online on the internet is awesome. But having a store online on the internet where people can pay you from anywhere in the world securely and easily is even better. And anyone can do this by having a payment gateway. Now, all a payment gateway is, it's just a third-party managed service that handles those secure and easy payments for you. And they provide you with tools that allow you to manage and organize and see and track different payments that different people are sending to you. And so, a big one that people are used to is PayPal. You see here they have PayPal. Another one is Stripe. Another one is Square. And I know that people have different experiences with different ones, but the great news is that WooCommerce has actually gone ahead and already done the job of integrating all of the different payment gateways into their software. And so, if you just go to their website, and I'll leave the link in the description below, but if you go there, you see all of these different payment gateways that are ready for you to pay for and, download and install, and they come right out of the box, ready to go. And, some of them are $0. Some of them, actually cost money. Usually those are the more popular ones, but again, it's really all up to your preference and how you want to handle those payments. But again, WooCommerce has already taken care of it and provided you with options to choose from. Tip number 6 is going to be taxes. Now, I know that people are selling things from different places, different provinces, different states, different cities, and everybody has different tax rates for the products that they're selling. Now, WooCommerce goes ahead and they already just mention it. They're very forthright, and they recommend you consulting a tax professional or an accountant on your best options and to provide you information for your localities and your state, city, different things like that. Now, I know everyone may not have access to that kind of a resource or that kind of person, and if so, that's all right. WooCommerce has already, again, gone ahead, and then they provide you with information on how to set this up, what information you need. They provide, sort of definitions and places where you can get information to set up your tax rates for your specific, state, city, province. And it's all ready for you to just kind of look through and scroll through. They have frequently asked questions. And so they already have a treasure trove of information here ready for you to use. So again, tip number 6, make sure you plan out 4 tax rates for your products. Tip number 7, good product photos. Now, product photos are important because they can either sway a purchase for better or for worse. And what I mean is that if you've ever been to eBay and you're looking at a product and you look at the descriptors and you read all these great things about something that you're trying to buy, and you suddenly scroll down and you see the product image and it looks like they're claiming that it's in mint condition, but you look at the image and it's It's the box is torn up. It looks like it's been sitting in the basement in a puddle of water for 7 years, and it gives you an uneasy feeling, and it sort of breaks your trust a little bit with the buyer. And the same thing goes for your products on your store. And so you want to make sure that you're able to take good product photos at home. WooCommerce recommends having 800 by 800 pixel images. And if you have higher quality images, that's totally fine. The higher quality the image, the better. It can only help your brand image. It can only help the trust of you and your users. Now, the good news is that with a little time and a little effort, anyone can take good product photos from home. YouTube has dozens of search results for setting up DIY photography stations. I've set my own up. I took an Amazon box, a sheet, 2 lamps, and I was able to take my own photos. There are options out there that range from $0 to $2,000, but wherever you are in that spectrum, make sure that you're taking the time to set yourself up by having great product photos so that you can instill confidence and trust in your users when they're trying to buy your products. So I hope you have found this portion of the video helpful. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, feel free to leave a message in the comment section below. And thank you so much for your time.
Hi, and welcome to the WordPress dashboard WooCommerce setup. I'm going to show you how to set up a product. I'm going to show you how to set up 2 different types of products. First being a simple product, and then next being a variable product. So we're just going to click on Add New right here. And in this Add New screen, you have different sections, as you can see. Best way to do this is just go top to bottom. So first we need to enter a product name. So being that this is just a test product, we're just going to do test. That's product 1. And now this particular visual editor right here is a description area. This description area shows up under the main product image as well as the short description. I know it doesn't make any sense that the bottom description shows at the top. It would make more sense if it, was kind of in order. Unfortunately, that's how this was set up. But this area is optional. We'll just put testing right here. So that way you have something there. So now this is the product data area. As I mentioned, we are setting up a simple product as well as a variable product, but we're going to start with simple. You do have different types of products that you can set up, as you can see. So you can set up, a simple product, a group product, external affiliate product, a variable product. You can also set up a virtual product or a downloadable product. Virtual meaning, something that isn't physical, and downloadable meaning exactly what it is, a product that needs to be downloaded. So there's really only a couple of things that are required when setting up a product. You just really need a product title and the price, but what good is that if you're trying to really sell these products? So you do need to enter in more information. So we are going to enter a regular price of $10, or we can just leave it as 10. And if we wanted to, we can set up a sale price. For inventory, this is if you have SKU numbers for your products. You can set that up if you want to, but it's completely optional. It's really just like an inventory thing. That's why it's under the inventory tab. You also have the option to manage your stock. So if this particular product only has like a couple of, left in stock, then obviously you'd want to manage the stock. And that's just a matter of putting a check mark right here, and maybe you just have 5. Okay. And, you can, allow for a back order if you want. And also maybe you're going to want a low stock threshold, so that way you can be notified when you need to maybe take this product off of the site for a second. So that way you can get more products in stock for, this particular product. So you also have the option to sell this individually, and you can check that off right here. So that way it can just be purchased by itself. Nobody can purchase it separately, or they can purchase it in a group order, things like that. So now we're going to go to shipping. So the weight and dimensions for this area are pretty much like, they're only required if you are going to be using a plugin that will calculate shipping for you, such as USPS or UPS or FedEx. And also you can set your weight to be, pounds or ounces. I just did a very quick setup. So it's set up to kilograms, as well as your dimensions. You can set it up, to centimeters, or inches and so on. But again, if you're not planning to use any of those plugins, such as USPS, UPS, FedEx, then you don't have to enter in anything here. This is really only needed if you're going to set up one of those plugins. And those plugins do require that you pay for them through WooCommerce. So for the sake of just having stuff here, I'm just going to put ones in all of this. And now we're going to move on to linked products. So if I had more products entered already, I could set up upsells and I could set up cross sells. Okay. But since I don't, we can just, ignore this section. Attributes, this is just a simple product with no options. So I don't need to set up any attributes. Attributes are really required if you're going to be setting up a variable product, which I'll be showing you next. All right. And then advanced is if you want to set up some purchase notes, if you want to, put these products in order. So if you're wanting to do that, you would just do one, and so on and so forth when you're setting up your other products. Okay. And of course, in this area, you can set up, for reviews to be enabled as well. All right. So now we're going to go down here. This is the short description that shows next to the product image. We're just going to put testing right here. But this area is, personally, I think you're going to want to put the most information right there. So that way you, have the most information there. And that way, like, people don't have to scroll down for anything else. The idea is you just want to capture the attention of your customers. So just keep that in mind. All right. So now that we have all of this on the left set up, now we have some stuff on the right. So before we get to this publish area, product categories, you can add categories here just by entering categories here. Well, since this is a wine site, we're just going to enter in some new categories. And that's it. So, but, I can check off whatever categories I want this assigned to and things like that. So, and you can also set up a category to be, these are all parent categories, but you also have the option to set up subcategories, and we'll go over that after we have set up our products. Okay. So we'll just keep it set to Merlot. All right. Then product tags. These act as kind of like, search keywords, of course. You can put, however many tags you want. Merlot right here. Wines and things like that. So, and now one of the most important things is setting a product image. So I can set product image, I can upload an image, or I can select it from my media library, and we'll just select this one. We are going to want to set a alt text for that. So just for SEO purposes, we're just going to set some alt text right there. Then we're going to set the product image, and that's going to show here like that. And now if I wanted to have a gallery, I can do add product, I can add multiple images in here. So I'm just going to hold my control key, and I'm just going to select a few. And I'm just going to add these to the gallery. And that's it for setting up a simple product. So now we're going to hit publish. And this is going to go to a shop page, but you have the option to view your products, which we're going to do. And this is how it shows. So as you can see, you have your product image right here, and you have your short description right here. You also have this down here as well. And you have an additional information tab. This is where that weight and dimensions goes. And then if you had any reviews, they would show up right here. Okay. So we're going to get back into the dashboard here. So now what we're going to do next is we're going to add a variable product. So to do that, we first have to add product attributes. So we're just going to go under products. We're going to go to attributes. And attributes are options. So for example, if you're selling t-shirts that have size and color, you're going to want to add attributes for, we'll do color. And as you can see, it's just entering a name and hitting add attribute, and then size. All right, so now I have my colors and my size, or I have my color and my size, but now I want to configure some terms for these, because this is what's going to give your end user the option of, selecting certain things. So for color, we're going to configure terms, and it's going to take us into a similar screen, and we're just going to enter some colors. And all I'm doing is entering in the name and pressing enter. And as you can see, that adds it to the right. So I'll just do yellow. All right, so maybe I want these to be alphabetical. I can drag these in the order I want them to be in, as you can see. Oops. All right, and that's it. So we're going to go back to attributes. And now I have some terms here. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing for size. So we're going to configure the terms. We maybe want small, medium, large, and extra large. And for these, it's really less about alphabetical and more about, the size. So we're going to put small first. We're going to put extra large last. So we'll put medium right under small. All right, and now we're all in order. So we have our attributes, as you can see. So now we're ready to create a variable product. Add new. And we're going to call this a test variable product. And this is, all right. Now under product data, we're going to change this to variable product. And now the tabs have kind of changed. So if I only have one SKU number for this particular product, I can enter that here. If it's, if I have just like a whole entire stock for this one variable product, I can enter that here, but I'm going to show you where to enter in all of this information, so you can kind of skip over this area, okay? Unless you want to set this product to be sold individually. All right, so we're going to go to shipping. And again, this area is optional if you don't have a plugin that is calculating shipping for you, such as like if you're just going to use what is built into WooCommerce, such as flat rate, free shipping, local pickup, and stuff like that. But again, this area is totally optional. Linked products, upsells and cross sells, those still applies. Like if you want to upsell or cross sell anything. So now, before I can add variations, I have to add attributes. So I'm going to select color and I'm going to hit add. And then I'm also going to select size and I'm going to hit add. So when you're setting up your attributes, you do have to check off used for variations, as well as keeping this visible on the product page selected. The values are the attribute terms that we set up. So I'm just going to click in here and select my terms. I'm not even typing in anything. As you can see, it's just click inside and select. Okay. And the same for here. And they're all in the right order that they need to be in. All right. So I'm going to hit Save Attributes. And now we can go to Variations. Oops. Here we go. And from this drop down, we're going to create variations from all attributes and hit Go. And it usually gives you this, little disclaimer right here. We're just going to hit OK. And 12 variations have been added because we have 4 sizes as well as 3 colors. Okay. So the best way to set up every single variation in here, we're going to hit Expand right here. It's a little tip for you to do when setting up, a lot of variations that you have information for. If your variations have specific SKU numbers, you can enter that right here. And then you also have the option whether or not it's downloadable, virtual, or if you want to manage the stock here. All right. But you don't have to worry about any of that. You can set your variation price right here. So it can be 10. And of course, you can set up the sale price, whether or not it's in stock. And then, of course, your weight and dimensions, if it differs from that parent area in the inventory, or in the shipping area. And then you can also set up different descriptions for these, as well as setting a different product image. So we're just going to select images here. All right. And all right. So just going to just keep doing the same thing. Just going to skip over entering the alt text for these images for the sake of time. All right. We're just going to keep going. Let's see. We'll do. All right. And even entering in the description area, for these, you don't have to. This is optional as well. And setting up different product images for your variations, that's definitely optional as well. But if you have like sizes and colors, you are going to want to display that within the options, not just in your product gallery. So, all right. So. Okay. Okay. Just one. Now we're going to save. All right, so again, down here, this is our product short description area that will show up next to the main image. We're just gonna select an image for our main image right here. And we're just gonna use a bunch of different product images, just whatever's in the media library. We're gonna select a couple of categories, and then we're just gonna publish it. All right. So now we're going to view this product. So this product is telling us to choose options. So as you can see, this has different product images. All right. So I'm going to select black, medium. And as you can see, it changes to the variable product image, as well as the description. So if the description was different, it would show down here. We're going to do different colors here. Oops. All right. So that's it. So as you can see, everything else, it just stays where it should be. These show the categories right here, just as it would on the other product, and that's it. So we're going to go back to the dashboard. over where you can add your categories if you didn't want to add them when you are creating your product. So if you wanted to do that first. So under products, we're going to go to categories. And as you can see, we have these categories right here. So maybe I want to create subcategories for like wine accessories. So maybe we're going to want to do wine key. And so I'm going to select the parent as a wine accessories. I'm just going to do add new category. Now, you also have the option to set up thumbnails for your categories because WooCommerce gives you the option to show either products for your shop page or to show categories and subcategories. So you might want to enter in thumbnail images for here. So that, you know, if you did want to display categories as opposed to all of your products on the shop page, that's already set for you. But again, that is optional. So, so yeah, so that's pretty much, that's pretty much it. If you did want to add new categories such as, we'll do Chardonnay. Hopefully I spelled that right. So I do add new category, and that adds it as a new parent category. And that's pretty much it. If you did want to make any of these they're like subcategories, you could just do edit, and you can select the parent category from here. So maybe I want this under wines, and then again I can set a thumbnail image. I can also set up a description here as well if I wanted to. But I'm just going to leave all that blank and hit update. And I can go back to categories. And now it shows under here. So that's pretty much it. So, so that really concludes what you'll be doing as far as, adding categories, adding attributes for variable products and stuff like that. I do have time to show you where to go for entering in your settings. So WooCommerce has its own dashboard where you can access your orders and, set up coupons, as well as, seeing what your how many customers you have, running reports, specific settings, the status, and of course, like extensions. So we're going to look over settings, because this is an area that you're going to want to go to if you need to update your address, if you want to change, the currency, if you want to enable taxes. That's really important here. So because I made a change, I'm just going to hit Save Changes. And now we're just going to go to the next tab. And under the products tab, this is actually where I can change my measurements. So if I want it to be pounds and inches, just hit save on that. And yeah, so there are some, the main things you'll be doing in settings is really, like setting up anything that you forgot to set up on the initial installation of WooCommerce. So for example, like setting up the measurements for your weight and dimensions, enabling tax, because this tax tab doesn't come enabled unless you are going to, enter that. So, and enable it under this general tab. So, most times your products are going to be, and they're going to be entered as the prices, exclusive of tax. So, like that's, I don't know too many products that do have tax included, but sometimes, all of that's included. So, so all of this you can really just keep as is. But to set up your rate, you can just use standard rates and insert a row, and whatever your codes are, or excuse me, I put in the wrong thing. So this was US. So your country code, your state code, if you want this to be specific to zip codes, because places like California have a lot of different tax percentages, sales tax percentages. So oftentimes you're going to be entering in a postcode as, maybe even a city, and the rate. So the rate is whatever the percentage is. So 6.5 or whatever. The tax name is whatever you want to call this tax rate. You can keep this blank. The priority is if you're going to have, if you're going to have multiple tax, like rates, obviously you're going to want to show it 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But really, if it's just one, you can just keep it as one. The compound is choose whether or not this is a compound rate. Compound tax rates are applied on top of other tax rates. So if that applies to your area, then you can set that up. And whether or not you're going to charge tax on shipping, and you honestly do not want to do that. So we're just going to uncheck that. All right, just hit save changes, and that's it. So another thing you'll be doing in here is setting up your shipping. So you are going to want to add a shipping zone. So I usually just set up one for the United States, and then just United States. Oops, United States in general. Now I'm going to add a shipping method, which is just going to be a flat rate. And we're going to edit this flat rate. Don't want it to be taxable, but we're just going to set it to be $5 and hit save changes. And that's really it. But if you had USPS, UPS, or FedEx enabled or installed as plugins, this is where you would go to add your shipping method, and it would show in this drop down right here. All right. So that's all that you'd really be doing there. Oops. I'm just going to leave this. So now payments tab. So these are the different payments that are set up by default in WooCommerce. WooCommerce is a free plugin at the end of the day, but if you are looking to have a payment gateway that wasn't installed with WooCommerce, such as Stripe or PayPal Pro or Authorize.net or Square, those plugins do need to be installed. And some of them are free, some of them do cost. It really just depends. And you can, check to see if you can find a free one by just, going to plugins and doing add new and just typing in the plugin name or keyword and seeing if there's a free one there to install. And if it has been installed and enabled, it will show up here. And you can just enable whatever you want to use. So if you want to use PayPal, you can just, click this to enable it and then click set up. And really PayPal Pro just requires an email address and then any other information that you feel might be required for it. But really, it's just the email address. And that's it. So just update the email address and hit save changes. And that's really it. So that concludes the brief overview of WooCommerce. And yeah, so thank you for watching. Okay, so there are a few items that I had been kind of mentioning throughout the tutorial, stuff that costs and things of that nature. So WooCommerce is just a straightforward e-commerce plugin, very powerful if you want to use it out of the box. If you just have a very basic store setup, you don't need much functionality, things of that nature. However, there are some additional functionality that you can add, such as, plugins for printing out packing slips and stuff like that, and invoices. If you want to be able to have, your order numbers start at a certain number, and, there's all sorts of different functionality. If you're thinking it, chances are it's already been thought of and there's already a solution out there or will be a solution. As I've been mentioning throughout the tutorial, there are plugins that do cost because WooCommerce is free. But the shipping plugins are probably the main ones that you would probably be looking into. So out of the box functionality for WooCommerce has free shipping, local pickup, and flat rate that you can all set up. But if you're looking to have your shipping calculated for you, that's where plugins like UPS, USPS, FedEx, that's where those come into play. So, you can go to WooCommerce.com and purchase any of those plugins. And of course, once you have them and, purchased and downloaded, you can just install them. And you can just, set them up from there. They do all require that you have some sort of an online account of some sort, so you can set up APIs for it. And you heard me talk a lot about like weight and dimensions. That is very important for the setup of the plugins itself. So, keep that in mind. Again, weight and dimensions are not important if you're planning to utilize free shipping, flat rate, or local pickup, but it is important if you are going to be using those plugins. So just keep that in mind. And there's also more advanced functionality. Oftentimes, maybe you want to hide those tabs that show like the bottom description, such as, there's 3 tabs that usually show underneath your main image and your short description. And it's description, reviews, and additional information. Stuff like that can be hidden if you don't want it to show, but it does require some coding knowledge. You have to use what are called hooks, and you have to set those up in your theme's functions file. So that does require some coding knowledge because it is PHP. You can find a lot of these hooks online. A lot of forums have them, and it's just a matter of copying and pasting. But again, if you don't feel comfortable with stuff like that, then, I wouldn't try it. But yeah, if you're looking to do, just more advanced stuff, chances are you do have to find the hook for it to enter into that file. If not, there's more than likely a plugin for it. There's plugins for gift cards. There's plugins, again, for, printing out invoices and packing slips. There's, plugins out there for, again, setting up the order numbers in order. But also there's plugins for more advanced store setups, such as like drop shipping as well as wholesale. So drop shipping is more on the advanced side. There is a plugin available for that if you're looking to set up your store that way. But wholesale is something that does come up in our department a few times, So wholesale is, it can be very advanced or it can be very easy. A wholesale setup just basically requires a plugin. And pretty much, if you have someone who is looking to be, purchasing from you at a wholesale price, you are going to want them to register on your site. So that does require some, setups with some forms and stuff like that. So it can be very basic, but it can also be very advanced. And there's free wholesale plugins, but there's also paid wholesale plugins. There's a whole wholesale suite that you can purchase for setting this up. So these were just some things that, I just wanted to go over very quickly, because, stuff like drop shipping and wholesale and printing your invoices and stuff like that, that's not a functionality of WooCommerce. So that comes with the plugin. So keep that in mind.
All right, guys, we hope that you found this tutorial really helpful for you as you set up your e-commerce website from start to finish. But for those of us out there who don't have the patience, or maybe we don't have the time, we're busy actually doing other things, you're in luck, because for the month of June, our web design team, us here at InMotion, are offering a exclusive WooCommerce promo bundle to all new and existing customers. There's going to be a link in the description below for more information, but if you don't like scrolling or you don't like clicking, the bundle's actually going to come with some great goodies. One of them is going to be our Quick Starter Plus WordPress website, created by one of our designers, possibly me. It's going to have 3 pages at a discounted rate. The site is going to be using BoldGrid, which is one of the builders here. So, if you are not an HTML expert or you're not fluent in Rust, that's all right, because the builder is going to be helping you. It's going to be some to drag and drop. It'll just make the whole process a little bit easier for you. If you also don't currently have hosting, we're also offering a discount for the full year through us in Motion Hosting. So not only are you getting your website, but you're also getting it preset with WooCommerce ready to go, and we'll help you adding the first 5 products so that you can work on just getting started. Also, at launch, we're going to send you guys some guides to help you manage and expand your website as your business grows. And we're going to be throwing in some support time just in case you need help along the way. So all the details are going to be further down in the links below, including the steps to purchase. If you are ready to get started, our consultants are ready to speak with you at 888-321-4678. And again, more information is going to be down below in the description.
Thank you guys so much. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.